All right, well, good morning or happy crack of noon or so on May 14th. It's Monday, May 14th, 2012. I'm going to do something right now, and I figured if anything was worth a jam, it's probably this. Little bit of backstory. In 2008, I outlined a story that was in my head, haunting me for years, but I actually did a treatment, sort of an outline synopsis of a 26-chapter book. Ended up being 26 chapters anyway, called Under Angels, a supernatural thriller. And I knew I wanted to revisit that story and actually craft it up, but such a huge undertaking writing a novel, you know. As a New Year's resolution experiment, at the end of 2008, I vowed publicly to write this novel in real time. I figured I'd take the 26 chapters, there's 52 weeks in a year, why not just use my blog as a platform to revisit each chapter separately, one every 2 weeks, flesh it out, write the chapter, and post it on my blog. I figured 26 chapters every other week. If I were to stick to a schedule, say starting on New Year's Day and then every 2 weeks until December 31st of that year, if nothing else, I would at least have the material in front of me in some sort of form. Call it a first draft or whatever. So I did set out on that, called it a blovel. It was quite a year, which is another story we could talk about sometime over a drink. Anyway, I got the thing done, didn't take any breaks. December 31st ended. I got the stuff out of my system, the story out of my system. I walked away for a few months, came back in 2010, right? Finally read what I had blogged and for the first time and was like, wow, this is a lot going on here. I then began to do some editing and polish the thing. I ended up sort of consolidating the first two chapters together. I took the third and fourth chapters and consolidated those. And then I wrote two new chapters that are sort of in the middle of the book that better flesh out the stakes and a little bit more story about our villain and such. I ended up preparing the manuscript, which is like a mechanical thing. I ended up finishing on was it Halloween of 2010. So that was that. What happened is, as that was all happening, the world was changing in the whole publishing area of life, and this whole self-publishing scene and the indie publishing and the ebooks were coming. They'd been out for a few years, but were really kind of hitting. The Kindle was hitting the market. People were buying these Kindles, and it was all kind of lining up, you know. And by the time the summer of 2011 rolled around, which is last summer, I said, you know what, I'm just going to take this manuscript and throw it on Kindle, see what happens. I did that in August, and it was cool. It's just the most rewarding sort of experience to have people you've never heard, you never even met, from other countries actually reacting to something that came out of your head, you know. But so Under Angels has been on Kindle for months now, since August, and for a few reasons I wanted to do the paperback version. A couple people have been saying, do you have it in paperback? And of course I want one on my shelf. So again, the world was changing, and Amazon has this service called CreateSpace. There are other places on the web where you can do this print on demand thing, which is a completely different way of printing books. Back in the old day, they used to, you know, in order to print your book, if you were going to do it self-publishing style, you got to go to print house and do offset it, like this offset printing procedure, which is a different technology than the digital printing. You had to commit to buying thousands of books, and you had a bunch of them in your garage, and they all had typos in it, and just a real mess. But things have changed, man. It reminds me what's happening right now in 2012. It reminds me a lot of what was happening with the web, when the web hit in like 97, 98. You know, deep down you knew something big was kind of going on. Things were changing, and there was like a handful of us that had like email addresses and we went out and got our .coms and stuff, and people are like, no, I don't even, people didn't even have cable. Some of these people were just like real reluctant to even jump into this whole World Wide Web internet thing, and yeah, we all know what happened there. Anyway, what I mean is, there's a very similar energy, this brewing potential with this self-publishing scene, and it's all going down right now. So between ebooks and print on demand, the whole playing field is leveling, and it's cutting out the middleman. A lot of people who just have been there since day one, traditionally in the world of publishing, and just basically scoop up the lion's share of what the artists do, and kind of substantiate their existence that way. But now it's getting to be more and more, less and less necessary for all that, and we could all do it ourselves. Anyway, for the better part of the last several months, I have been preparing Under Angels for the paperback edition. I decided to do it earlier in the year. I don't think I realized what a big undertaking it was and how consuming it is. And I should probably, I want to take the opportunity to thank two very special people for making this all possible in the last few months, because it's just, it never would have been able to happen. Milena, for sort of facilitating my anal retentiveness and putting up with stuff that doesn't make sense to anybody who's not really, really, really close to me in the process. The shoes in the doorway and just the scattered thoughts and, that type of thing. So thanks very much, darling. Second person, really the MVP of the last 4 weeks or so, Mary Beth Atkinson. You are the shit, man. Mary Beth stepped in, who's the most detail sensitive person I've ever met. I mean, she can find the smallest needle in the biggest haystack, and it was actually a humbling experience, man. I didn't realize. I mean, you just, there's certain things you don't see with your own work. I mean, even after years of looking at it, reading it dozens of times, having hundreds of people read it, it's just insane how things can get through the cracks. So I think by doing the paperback edition, there's this higher level of priority on perfection, I guess. It's just like, if it's going to go to print, you're going to kill trees and like put ink on the stuff. You can't go in and edit it later like you can with an ebook or a website or something like that. So going through that process has allowed me to really make the story as good as it needed to be. And and as I was tightening up all the seams and whatnot, I did make the changes to the ebook itself. So all these new improvements are reflected on the Kindle version of the book. So those who do have the Kindle version of Under Angels, just go to Amazon and ask them to push the most recent edition. So why, I don't know. To make a long story at medium length, here's what's happening. The process of publishing through CreateSpace involves you prepare your manuscript, you prepare your artwork, you're in charge of your marketing, but there's a lot of mechanical stuff that goes on. You're doing a lot of Microsoft Word, you're creating PDFs, a lot of Photoshop. Fortunately for me, I have a lot of background in that, so I was able to do it myself without having to go and get help. So I did, the whole cover, the whole deal. So as you basically, it's really as easy as uploading your files to CreateSpace. They process the thing, and then you have to proof it. And so what I've been doing in the proofing process is I'll get it as good as I think it is. I think it could be, and then I will order a proof that just comes to me from Amazon. I can look at it, and I go through literally a physical proof like this with my markers. Which is very much the way I was doing the Blavel back in 2009. I would print out my draft, look at it, sit with it at lunch, red pen, mark it, take my changes, look at it again, apply my changes to the draft, sleep on it, print it out, come back, look at it again, find more stuff. and you go through this sort of, it's just like ironing out all the wrinkles, one stroke at a time. It takes about 5, 6, 7 times. With the novel itself, Mary Beth and I have been going through this, and she was really doing. I mean, it's so cool how people see things that you don't see. But you know, from a retarded, like, backward smart quote that Microsoft Word does, or just little continuity things. I mean, my protagonist is wearing an assault vest with tons of pockets in it, right? Throughout the entire story, he's got different things in his pockets, whether it's a note or batteries or a tool or something like that. And I think there was one pass that Mary Beth did where she went through the book and literally followed Pete's vest beat for beat throughout the book, just to make sure that everything was in the right pocket. So, a lot of work. Mary Beth, I owe you. In doing, as part of this process, I was able to address every little piece of continuity, and one of the last things that I did was sort of an accuracy thing, and just the other day, I think it was like the final thing that I did. Mary Beth's, one of her last comments was at the very end, when I think we were, all of our observations were getting super anal, which is a good sign that you're almost done, when you start getting really picky about italicization and all that stuff. So, but one thing was, there's a scene in 1946 that takes place in a hospital, and I described the hospital personnel, as wearing scrubs. We all know what that means. And she pointed out, she goes, were they called scrubs in 1946? And I'm like, man, that's a really, really good question, right? Okay, so Google, Wikipedia. And it was really kind of difficult to find the actual history of the term, the etymology of the term scrubs. It seems as though people started popularizing the term in about the 70s, but I know it goes further back than that. Fortunately for me, and this is where the fun part comes in, my grandfather, he's going to be 99 years old this month. He's a surgeon, and he was a surgeon in World War II. So, what better guy to confirm this one with? I give them a call. My granny answers. She's 98, and I had this conversation with them the other day. It was awesome. I mean, we got disconnected. She couldn't hear me. He couldn't hear her. It was like playing Operator live, you know. What? Hey, Gil. Yeah. In 1940, what was the question? Anyway, the answer is yes. They called them scrubs back then. On the inside, anyway. So that stayed. Scrubs stayed. There were a couple really, really, really killer things about the story that I think were opportunities that I may have missed the first time around. Just really cool. There's this one little aspect, this device, storytelling device called a bootstrap paradox. You can Wikipedia that one. I was able to, in a very natural, obvious way. It's like, duh, why didn't I think of the ballpoint pen? Of course the ballpoint pen, right? The Biro ballpoint pen. So for those of you who are going to read it, or have read it, or don't care, I'm going to tell you anyway, pay attention to the ballpoint pen. I think you're going to like that. And then look up bootstrap paradox. Really cool stuff. Anyway, back to where we are. Amazon, CreateSpace, they give you a bunch of tools to proof your book. You can order a hard copy. And then you can proof your book digitally. And I have two ways to do it. I can look at like a PDF, right? They set it up as a PDF, so you could look at each and every page. I'll, kind of go through there. And while I'm doing that, I'm comparing it to all my little notes and highlighting. It's just insane work to concentrate and keep track of everything that you're doing. Every time anytime somebody says something to you, or Melena will walk in the room, or the phone will ring, or something like that, I can't stop what I'm doing, because you'll lose your spot. And it's not just about losing your spot and being distracted. If you lose your spot, you have to, like, you have no peace of mind that everything that you did for the last 15 minutes or an hour is tight. So it's essentially it's the OCD thing, or the ADD thing. I don't know, but we'll talk about that later. Here's another method of proofing the book. Really cool. They give you all these tools where you can actually look at the spread to see exactly how every page looks, and so on and so forth. So, without boring you any further, I've gone through all this, and here's why I'm here. Let me go to my window. I have gone through this, and I'm happy with it, and it's not the first time I've done this. So, what I'm going to do is wait, hold on, shit, sorry. They log you out. So, okay, I'm gonna approve the proof, right? So once you approve the proof, it basically goes live, and this is why I'm doing this. So let me exit the digital proofer, and then you come down to your little sort of, you know, view digital proof. We've done that. You can order printer proof. I've done that a bunch of times. Approve the proof. Ready? Here goes. Once you have completed proofing your book and have confirmed that the book meets your final expectations for publication, you can approve your proof and move on to the next step in the setup. Okay. What time is it? I don't know what time it is. Oh, it's about 12:13 on 5/14/2012, and here goes. Ready? One. Oh wait, five. Let's make. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2. Confirm, approving, yes. Click. Proof approved, congratulations. You have completed the proofing setup and your book is ready to be sold. Whoa, does that mean it's already online? Oh yeah. There it is, Tree Killers. Under Angels, the paperback edition is now available on Amazon and in the e-store, and it'll be everywhere. I'm going to be doing a book signing in San Pedro, which is just yards away from where much of the story takes place. June 9th, 2012, at a place called the Corner Store. Come to underangels.com for more information on that. Thank you so much, everybody, for everything that's happened up until now, and for everything that's going to happen in the next 5 minutes and after that. So, all right, cheers.